Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for this episode of the Doobert webinar. So today we're going to be looking at how we can basically match our fosters with an animal within both CCM and our animals tab using some of our search functionality and our tags. So I'm really excited to share this one with you guys as always, because this is a really great way to match preferences and for both the animal and the foster. So just a quick overview, we would create a case for each of our fosters in CCM, and then we'd add all the details that we would want to include. So for example, we'd have their contact information in there, any of their preferences, current pets that they have as their own, whether they have a fenced yard, whether they prefer pets who are crate trained, things like that. And then we'll also create animal profiles for all of the animals that we have that are either going to be in a foster home or looking for a foster home. So by having both of those, that's how we're really going to make those matches and pairing up our animals with our fosters. And then we can also search and filter the animals because we have a lot of advanced search methods. So we can search tags is what we're really going to focus on. But there's so many different search options. So if there are any other ways that you choose to basically search and filter, there are a ton of options. So when we create our foster cases, we are going to want to add our foster preferences, like I said, as tags because this is really easy for our searching side of things. So when we're looking at our list of fosters in CCM and we're looking for those who prefer, say, a crate trained dog, they have a fenced yard, so they match well with a dog who needs a fenced yard, things like that, we can really make those matches and search really easily. So we'll also want to store our contact information because we can easily communicate with them by text or email. But it's also just a really great way to store that key information right within the case. And then we're going to utilize all of CCM's search filters to find the ideal fosters for our animals. And then when we create our foster animal profiles, we're going to want to add any necessary pet information for basically our matching purposes again, and then we're going to want to do tags for our compatibilities and preferences. So whether they're crate trained, require a fenced yard, don't do well with kids, cats don't do well with dogs, dogs don't do well with cats, anything like that that the organization is aware of. And then we can easily search these animals on the animals dashboard by tag. So that's going to be part of our key process in figuring out who is a good match. And then another great thing about the animal profiles is that we can create an ambassador page of our animals and share a little bit of information about them when we are looking for a foster. So for example, this is something that you could send to your fosters and see if anyone would be interested, where they can view a couple pictures, learn a little bit about the pet, and really just get to know them and see if they'd be a good match for their foster home. So I'll show you guys a little bit how we can do that. And then after we jump into the system and talk about all these processes, we will have just a brief Q&A towards the end and go through a couple of our FAQs, things we were asked on demos, really anything else that you guys should know about the topics we covered in this webinar. So now I'm going to jump into the system and show you guys the process and what this would look like. And I am going to be demoing in our beta environment, just so you guys know. I mentioned this in every webinar. Sometimes things might look a little bit off because it is our sandbox for testing purposes. But other than that, I'm going to jump into beta and show you guys how it all works. All right, so here I am in our beta environment. So first thing I'm going to do is head over to our animals tab right here. And I'm going to click on our dashboard. And this is where we're going to create all of our animal profiles for any of the animals within our foster program. So anyone who currently has a foster or they are in need of will want to have an animal profile created for them. So I'm not going to make one just because I've covered it in a couple of our previous webinars. So if you want to check that out, definitely go reference those. But for this one, we have a couple options in terms of how we can create them. We can do a full ad, a quick ad, or we can upload here as well. But I'm going to click on one of our existing ones and show you guys all of the information that I have that you'll want to include in yours. So as you can see right here, we have our privacy settings. So this one I have that the animal's public profile is viewable outside our organization to other organizations only, but I can also edit this to have it viewable by the public as well. So for our ambassador page, I'm just going to briefly change this really quick. And I'm going to edit to organizations in general public right here as well. So then we can now send this out to any of our fosters and see if they'd be interested. But now heading back over to our, let me save this really quick actually, I always forget. Anytime you make a change in here, you want to save it. But now we're going to be taken back to our dashboard, and I'm going to click on my animal profile right here. So we're going to use Remy as an example. And I want to view the animal profile's details, so I'm going to click on the pencil right here where it says Edit Profile. So I have all my details in here just to save you guys some time. But we have name, type, breed, adult, age, date of birth, gender, all things like that. So a lot of different information you can put in here. And then I also highly recommend adding any photos to the animal profiles just because it's really easy for identification purposes. But also if you're going to be sending out the ambassador pages, it's really great and helps the fosters get to know the animals as well. So I highly recommend that. It's just a quick upload right here where you can upload any of your files and crop them. So I have a few in here. This is my dog. That's Remy. So down here is basically the key tool that we're going to use for our matching. So these are our general tags. So if you've been in the system, you'll know that there is tags in a couple different places. So we have our case tags and we also have our animal tags. So if we have any key information that is going to be really important when we're matching a foster, we're going to want to put it in here. And then it's always good to keep kind of like a uniform style in terms of how your tags are. So for example, no cats, fenced yard, rather than not compatible with cats, things like that. So you always want to pick from your existing ones because that's going to make searching a lot easier. So here I have just for her compatibility preferences, things that would be ideal in her foster home. We want to have a home with no cats. She's never been exposed to cats, but we don't know how she'll respond. So I'm going to put that one in there just as an example. We have a fenced yard that she would require a fenced yard in whatever foster home, and that she is spayed. So if any of the fosters have a preference on whether they're spayed or not, we can definitely match with a home that prefers any only spayed animals or neutered. And then we also have crate trained if, for example, we have a foster who prefers only crate trained pets. So I have a couple of her key preferences in here. So that is really the most important part of this process when we're going to match. So I can also add a couple more details down here. So if you're interested in using the ambassador pages, I highly recommend adding likes, dislikes, and fun facts because it's a really great way for the foster to get to know the animal. These will be viewable on their ambassador page, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But here I have that she likes carrots, large dogs, going for walks, and then I have our dislikes right here: fireworks, thunderstorms, the usual loud stuff. And then you can also add any fun facts in here if you would like to as well by just typing and then clicking the plus sign. And then I'm sure you guys know we have pretty advanced animal profile details here as well. We can attach files, things like that, but this all looks good to me. We have our tags in here. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys our search filters. So when we're looking to make a match, say we have a foster in mind and that we're looking to place an animal with and they only prefer a pet, for example, that's crate trained, they have a fenced yard, so they are able to take a pet who can be suitable in a fenced yard. So what I'm going to do is click on these view advanced filters right here. So I'm going to put something in our animal tag search bar and show you guys how we can find our animal matches. So I'm going to put in crate trained. So as you can see, it comes in right there. So that looks good. I'm going to click on search and there we have it. So this is basically how we can easily find our matches. So if we want to put another tag in here, we can do that as well. So we can put the no cats one in here as well. And we can try and search again. And then she'll be here as well because she has both of those tags. And then we have our any and all feature as well. So if you prefer to use that, you can do that too. But other than that, that is really how we're going to search our animals by tag, really to match them with a good foster home. So now that we have our animal in mind, that the dog is crate trained and they do well with a home that has no cats. So now we can easily match them with one of our ideal foster parents. But before I do that, I want to show you guys just a quick way that we can view our animals ambassador page once we flipped that privacy setting to public. So if we just click on her name right here, this is going to take us to our ambassador page. So this page is public. So what we can do is copy this and we can send this to any of our fosters and ask if they think this pet might be a good fit for them. And so I highly recommend doing that. So here we have our likes, our dislikes, and any fun facts that I mentioned within the animal profile. We have our information right here, the gender, age, weight, demeanor, compatibility, things like that. And then it's also going to tell you a little bit of information about your organization as well. But scrolling down, we have our pictures, and then we can also make like little posts, I guess I would call them. So here we have my foster mom let me swim in the pool today. I had a blast. So this is really fun and a good way for your fosters to get to know the animals, share any fun details, things like that. So we just have a couple pictures in there so they can capture their heart. But I just wanted to show you that. And before I go, I am going to copy this link because I'm going to show you guys how we can send it to any of our fosters as well. So just going to copy that. And now I'm going to head back over into our animals dashboard. So now we're pretty much good in the animals tab. We have all of our processes finished up. So now we're going to head over into CCM and basically make that match with a foster. So I'm going to click on companion case management right here. And I'm going to click on cases. So I'm not going to make a new case, but if you are interested in making a new case for any of your fosters, you would just click on this plus sign right here and fill in all the details. So I'm going to go ahead and find one that's assigned to me. So I'm going to use this assign to feature right here and scroll down until I see my name. And I'm going to search because I assigned this to myself. So here we have my Caitlin Smith foster volunteer case. So as you can see, I have my case type as foster volunteer, my case status as an active foster, just to let your organization know if you have any active, inactive fosters, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on this. So this is my foster profile. As you can see, we have our tags in here as well, saying that Caitlin prefers a pet who is crate trained. She has a fenced yard, so that's really great. Remy might be a good match for her. She doesn't have any cats of her own, so that's another good sign, as Remy might not be compatible with a cat. And it also is letting us know that she has young children, so any pet that is going to her would have to be compatible with a young child. So that's just a little bit of an idea of how you can use the tags for a foster preference as well. Down here we have all of our contact information. We can edit any of that by clicking the pencil right here. And we have a little bit more down here, tasks, files, and activity log, all things like that. So what we can do now is if we want to see if Remy might be a good fit for our foster Caitlin, we're going to click on send email or text right here. And I'm going to send her an email and say, are you looking to foster another dog? And I am just going to put a little message in here and send her that link just to get her opinion on whether she thinks Remy might be a good fit for her home or not. So we're just going to say, hey, Caitlin, I hope you are doing well. I came across an animal from our organization, that I thought might be a great fit for your home. So I'm just going to send her this link right here. Check out this link. And then she can open that link, view those pictures, likes, dislikes, animal information, all things like that. And then she can decide whether she thinks Remy will be a good fit for her or not. So that looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and just send this off as an email. Okay, so we did that, and it's going to also show in our conversation log right here that we had sent that message. So I'm going to hop back into our case details, and Stacey replied. She said, yeah, I think Remy might be a great fit for me. I'd love to foster her. So that's great. Now we're going to go ahead and attach her animal profile right here. So I'm going to click on, we have our full ad option, we have our quick ad, or our ad from my org. So since we already have our animal profile created, I'm going to click on add from my org. And I already know what animal I'm looking for, so I'm going to search for Remy right here. And I am just going to click on her little checkbox and click Assign. So now that is going to add this animal profile to the case. So now this is basically what it would look like when you have an active pet within the active foster home. And then, for example, Remy gets adopted. We want to remove it. We can always just click this and click Remove Animal right there. And then that's how we would unlink it. And if we want to add any more, we can do that by just repeating that same process, add from my org. So super, super easy. And that is really how we would make our matches based on our tags. So if you want to do it kind of vice versa and you'd rather search for your fosters and then find an animal that might match them, we're going to head back over into our CCM cases page right here. And I'm going to click on advanced filters, and then we also have our tags option here that we can search for any of our case tags. So again, I can search for Caitlin as well, but say I want to search for fenced yard, for example. So that looks good. Like I said, this is going to come up again, letting us know that this foster has a fenced yard. So if you have a set of questions that you want to ask all your fosters, for example, fenced yard, what types of pets do you have at home? That's really going to be a great guide for getting your tags in there. So that is all I have for our process of making our matches within the system. So now I'm going to jump back into our slides and we'll go through a quick Q&A. Okay, so our first question is, where can I manage my case tags, edit the colors, things like that? So that's a really great question. We have a manage tags functionality. So I'm going to jump back in the system and show you guys how we can find that and just share a little bit about it. All right, so I'm going to head over down to our shortcuts right here, and I'm going to click on manage tags right here. And this is where we'll be able to view all of our case tags within our system. And here we can also create any of our tags. We can create from this page or within the case or animal profile as well. We can search them. We can see who created them, how many times it's been used, see the colors right here. We can select, and then we have our edit or delete tag option right there as well. So that's a really great way to organize all of your tags. If you get a lot in your system and you want to make them a little bit more uniform, clean them up a little bit, this is a really great place to do that. So our next question is, how can I edit my case types and statuses for a foster program? So that's a really great question. So jumping back in the system, I am going to head over into our companion case management right here, and we're going to click on manage defaults. And this is going to be where you can go ahead and edit any of your statuses and types for your cases. So as you see, we have all of ours shown right here. We have the color for our statuses. If we want to add a new one, we just click on the plus sign. Same goes for the types. We just click our plus sign. These won't have a color option, but our statuses will. And then if we have a lot in here and we want to clean them up a little bit, we can just click the trash can. And then we have a few that are grayed out, just so you know they're system defaults. But other than that, that is how you would get those set up. And then once you're in the case, you can choose your newly created ones once you're creating them. So that is all I have for today's webinar. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in our future webinars. And if you have any questions on today's webinar, feel free to reach out to us at help@Doobert.com, and either myself or any of my team members will be more than happy to help you out.